Hello everyone, good morning. So, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel. So, the last 2 days we were discussing, the last 2 days we did not have class because of the preparation process, checking of the special class carnival and, Unacademy Aspire. It was really good. So today, after this 2 days, today I have come up with a very interesting topic, which will give you a better understanding about two major topics, which is fundamental rights and DPSP. Fine. So we'll go into the concept. So this we are going to do with India's largest learning platform, Unacademy. So why I call it as India's largest learning platform? We know very well we do have daily live class. You know it. You are meeting me either here or in the special class session. So live test and quizzes also takes place, and we have a structured courses and unlimited essays. Before that, can you hear me properly and can you all see me properly and the video properly? Yes? Shall I continue? Fine. So this you can download the app from the Google Play Store and Apple Store. It is available for all the OS, and many people have many people have been coming to my classes. People who are new, I would like to introduce myself. I'm an engineer basically, and I have 4 years of teaching experience. I have mentored more than 100 students, and I'm an anthropology faculty. Yes, so future we'll discuss about that too. And I have a teaching experience in it. And before going to this Telegram link, I am Suba Keerthana. Fine, so I am Suba Keerthana. So we have been having series of polity classes, for past 1.5 weeks. So this is my Telegram link. You can use it. Use this Telegram link and join my Telegram channel. It's an open channel where we'll be discussing things. I will share you current affairs. I will share important concept, all these things. And this is my Unacademy link, profile link, where you can check with the where you can check with my classes, special classes, free classes. It is actually going good in the special class also. Today I have planned to have a class on top 50 questions in polity. Okay, so top 50 questions in polity. We will be conducting the test along with the discussion. Like, one question you will answer and then we'll have the discussion like that. It will be a very good session. I want every one of you to attend. Okay, so uh, top 50 question in polity. Yes, I am from Tamil Nadu. Fine. So let's continue. So what are the classes for you I offer? These are the classes I give you people. So let's crack UPSC CSE English channel. In that we have polity explained for UPSC and ethics for mains. And then special classes, we have quick revision for prelims. So I'm trying to give you maximum possible revision for prelims. I don't want to, push you with new data, more data. I'm just doing the revision part in the special classes. Those special classes are free. Okay, so everyone can attend. I want every one of you to attend that and make use of it. Okay, they're all free classes. You can come join that and make use of those sessions. Fine, next. In this, you are having the opportunity to interact with the top educators, 100 plus top educators. There are many educators, and the syllabus for the classes is also designed such a way that it's covering the UPSC examination demand. The timing for the special class today is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, sharp at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 2 hours, 50 questions. I didn't want to push you with 100 questions. I know 100 questions you have, for the exam, but here we are going to discuss it. I mean, you're going to attend the question first, and then I will be showing you what is the right answer, and I will be giving you the explanation. Along with that, how to those kind of questions also we'll be discussing. Fine, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Unacademy platform. It's a special class. Okay, I have also shared the link in the Telegram channels and my social media platform. You can use that also. Fine, next. Or you can just visit my profile in the Unacademy. There it will be showing what are all the scheduled classes. You can just go inside and register yourself. So these are the subscription fee details. So in this subscription fee detail, you can just use, these details, like what is comfortable to you. You can go to that kind of subscription. You can do that. It can be plus or it can be iconic. I give you a gift. It's SUBA. So you get a 10 percentage of offer of whatever the fee is. Fine. So whatever the fee is, you get a 10 percentage of offer from that. So you have something called as iconic and plus. I always tell you iconic is something special because you have a personal attention and personal coach along with the daily mains answer writing session. So you can see here, when you start for the prelims next year or after 2 years, the best strategy is to start with the mains answer writing session. If people you are thinking that after prelims you will practice for mains, that is not right. That is not the right way to do, because within 3 months or within 2 months you cannot, do well in terms of mains. You should start with mains, and then before prelims for last 4 months, last 4 months before prelims should be your complete prelims preparation, and then you have to resume your mains after your prelims examination is over. Fine. So if October first week is the exam, you should finish the exam and take 1 day of break and start with the mains. Okay, that is how it works. Yes, good morning, and I really missed you people. Okay, for past two class we did not have this session. Polity is my favorite always. Fine. So let's see this. So plus or iconic, you can use code anywhere. SUBA. Suba is my code. You can use to get the 10 percentage of discount. Okay. Fine. So this is my special class. You can just go into my profile and you can just register over there. Today 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. top 50 polity question analysis. You are attending the question and then we'll have a discussion on that. Okay, just 50 in 2 hours. It will be really good. Okay, fine. Let's go into the topic. DPSP versus fundamental rights. We had a class on fundamental rights. We had a class on DPSP. Ma'am, but why is this important? Is this really needed? Of course, it is really needed, because many people have a misconception in their mind that DPSP is non-justiciable, so it's not powerful. So many think that DPSP, not just the UPSC aspirants. What I think is that even the policy makers or even the citizens, everyone should understand that even though DPSP is non-justiciable, it is not less or anyway down compared to the fundamental rights. How our class will go is like we will have a general difference between fundamental rights and DPSP, and then we'll be seeing where are all the conflicts between DPSP and fundamental rights, and then we'll try to understand, are they complementary and supplementary to each other. We'll be seeing, are they helping each other, are they in any way helping with each other. We'll see that, and finally we'll be seeing what are all the utilities of DPSP. Fine. So fundamental rights, in fundamental rights we had three parts. If you go there, I have clearly explained the significance of fundamental rights. Today I'll explain the significance of DPSP, because even though it's non-justiciable nature, how it is very important, we'll be discussing that today. Fine. So finally we'll be seeing the conclusion, and that's the end of the session. Fine. Okay. So someone have asked me, create a playlist for polity. Yeah, definitely I'll try to do that. I'll create a playlist for these classes alone. I'll definitely do that. Okay, thank you. So shall we go into the class? Are you all ready? And I always want you all to stay happy and healthy, so we'll start with a very good day today. So definitions. So compared to the definitions of fundamental rights are the rights without which a human being cannot survive in a dignified manner. It's not like we cannot survive without fundamental rights, but we have to survive with a dignified manner. If you are in a country, you should have dignity. That dignity is the duty of the government. The government should give us the dignified life, that too in a civilized society. That is why fundamental rights are known as the basic rights. So you can see that fundamental rights are known as the basic rights. They are also called as individual rights or negative rights. Okay, so individual rights. For individual, what are all the rights? For society, what are all the rights? Negative rights are nothing but they have the new terminology like prohibition, abolition, that's all. It doesn't mean they are negative to the people. Generally, I already told you fundamental rights are controlling the government, not the citizen. Okay, so that is the thing. Next, negative obligations on the state and not encroach on individual liberty. Okay, so this is what is about fundamental rights. So as I told you already, fundamental rights are basic rights with which a citizen can live in a dignified life in a civilized society. And whose duty is that to give us dignified life in a society? It's the government's duty. So the fundamental rights are negative obligation on the state and positive to the people. This you have to keep it in mind. Coming to the directive principles, part 4 of the Constitution deals with the directive principles of state policy, positive rights and impose positive obligations of state. How? In fundamental rights, the fundamental right says the state not to do certain things, do not prohibit, do not discriminate, and then abolish untouchability, do not arrest without the basic rights. So you can see that it is controlling, it is asking the state not to do certain things. That is why they are called as negative obligations. But on the other side, the DPSP positive obligation, because it is asking the state to do something, create equality, give free legal aid, and then ensure the environment is protected. You can see that they do not prohibit the state from doing something, but is encouraging the state to do something. Both these sides, fundamental rights and DPSP, both are the duties of government to follow, but here they are controlling the state without doing something. Here they are asking the state to do something, but both are positive for the people. Okay, that is what you should keep it in mind. Next, what are the differences? So they are negative as they prohibit the state, as we discussed. They are positive. Okay. One more thing, fundamental right is justiciable. So justifiable, like if we do not get any fundamental right, or if there is any violation of fundamental right, we have the right to go to the Supreme Court or High Court directly under Article 32 and 226. But in case of DPSP, it is non-justiciable. That means we cannot go to any court saying that the state did not follow the state did not follow the DPSP. Fine. So this is the meaning of justiciable and non-justiciable. Justiciable means you can go to court asking a question that this is not available for me. But in terms of non-justiciable, you cannot go to the court. So you can ask me, ma'am, if this is justiciable and if this is non-justiciable, you told me that DPSP and fundamental right are equal. They are no way less than each other. But how can something is having a justifiable power, something is not having a non-justifiable power, and you say that they are equal? I'll tell you how. Fundamental rights are enforced by the Constitution, but DPSP is enforced by a parliamentary law. So that is the only difference. So fundamental rights are they themselves enforcing through the constitutional mechanism, but DPSP is enforced by a parliamentary law, legal mechanism. The parliament should pass an act. Based on that act, you can check if it is available or not. This is the only difference. Both have their power, but here Constitution gives the power to fundamental right. Here Parliament has to give the power to the fundamental DPSP. Fine. Next. So this point is very important. You can see that they are establishing political democracy, fundamental right, political democracy. DPSP, social and economic democracy. See, oftenly asked question these both are. So which of the following ensures political democracy? It's fundamental rights. Which of the following ensures social and economic democracy? It's DPSP. Fine. So this you should keep it in mind. Fundamental rights is only giving us political democracy, but DPSP gives us social and economic democracy. Most of the DPSP, if you see, is related to participation of workers, which is social and economic, and then cooperative societies, and then village panchayats. So all these things related to social and economic. But this side, if you see, they are all political. The government, the state should give us this. It's a political democracy. Fine. Next, they have legal sanctions. As I told you, these people, I mean, the fundamental rights have legal sanction. This have legal and political sanctions. So this side, if you see, the Constitution is giving them power. This side, if you see, the Constitution is also giving some power. We'll be seeing the discussion. We'll be seeing where the Constitution is giving power to DPSP. Political sanction through laws. Both are also parliamentary law or is also giving political sanctions. Here, fundamental rights and DPSP. Generally, fundamental rights is related to the welfare of individual. So usually see, The fundamental rights is the rights offered to a citizen, single citizen, me or you. Okay, so a person who is arrested, a person who is discriminated, a person who is going to a public office. It is usually based on an individual, focused on an individual. So I can tell in another format, it is between an individual versus state. The fundamental right is always like an individual versus state, or individual versus society, or individual versus individual. So I will write like this. So it's individual versus state, or individual versus society, or individual versus individual. Okay, so it also acts against individual. So you can see who's the benefited here. An individual is benefited here. That is why we can call fundamental right is personal and individualistic in nature. But on the other hand, they promote the welfare of individual and also society. Okay, they promote the welfare of individual and also society. So you can see certain things where they prevent the concentration of wealth. Okay, prevention of concentration of wealth is a DPSP. So these things also happen. So in terms of DPSP, it is not just individualistic and also society. So personal, individualistic and society based. Okay, so this is very important about this. Next, they do not require legislation for implementation because they are already enforced by the constitution. But here they require legislation because they are enforced only by parliamentary law. So next, nullify any parliamentary law making it constitutionally invalid. Okay, so if there is any parliamentary law or any executive order or anything within the state is violating fundamental right, the Supreme Court has the power to declare it constitutionally invalid. But in DPSP you do not have such things. Okay, so that is the important concept. Fine. So of course, yes, we will be creating a playlist. Once the playlist is created, I will let you know. Fine. Thank you. Next. Fundamental rights are enforceable in the court through Article 32 and 226, but here we know very well they can uphold the validity on the law. See, this is important. So even though DPSP is not justiciable in nature, but the courts have power to use DPSP as a reference to check the constitutionality of the law. Okay, so not directly. For example, there is we know very well that in DPSP we have the prevention of concentration of wealth. Okay, prevention of concentration of wealth is a DPSP. If there is any law which is preventing the concentration of wealth, some people might question it based on the right to equality and based on this Article 19. Okay, I have right to occupation, I have right to residence. In that situation, how can you prevent me from earning more property? In that situation, the Supreme Court can say that in DPSP it is mentioned that prevention of concentration of wealth is there, so that is constitutionally valid. Okay, so this is very important concept. Even though they are non-justiciable in nature, the courts can actually use DPSP as the source of reference to check the constitutionality of a law. Fine. Next. So this is the difference. We saw the difference. But what is the conflict between fundamental rights and DPSP? First is in Champakumdura case in 1951, the Supreme Court held that if there is any conflict between fundamental right and directive principle, for example, if there is any law which is in line with DPSP, but which is violating fundamental right, so what will happen? So in Champakumdura case, which happened in 1951, the Supreme Court ruled that, see people, listen very carefully, this can come as mains question also. So what is the conflict between fundamental right and DPSP? Then they might ask, what is the historical reference related to the conflict between fundamental right and DPSP? In that situation, you should be knowing all these cases. Fine. So let's continue. So the Supreme Court held that if there is a conflict between fundamental right and DPSP, fundamental right prevails. Simple. Fundamental right prevails if there is a conflict between fundamental right and DPSP. What does that mean? If there is any law, so if there is any law saying that it is in line with DPSP, but it is violating fundamental right. According to this case, the Supreme Court verdict is that it will be cancelled because it is violating the fundamental right. And it also declared that directive principle have to confirm and run as subsidiary to the fundamental right. What is subsidiary? It's below, it is subordinate to fundamental right. Okay, so that is what Supreme Court ruled in that, and also held that fundamental rights could be amended by the parliament by enacting constitutional amendments. Very important. Okay, so Supreme Court ruled that fundamental rights can be amended using the constitutional amendment, that is using article 368, fundamental rights can be amended. As a result of this, the parliament made this first amendment act of 1951 and fourth amendment act of 1955, 17th amendment act of 1964 to implement some of the directives. So what did they do is they implemented some of the directive. Yes, basic structure of constitution will come. Okay, now the Supreme Court verdict is that you can just amend fundamental rights. Next, in Golaknath case. In Golaknath case, Supreme Court ruled that, see, that happened in 1951, this in 1967, fine. So, in Golaknath case, the Supreme Court ruled that Parliament cannot take away or abridge any fundamental rights. Yes, see, basic structure, that's what I'm telling you, basic structure came, in future. Actually, initially what happened, fundamental rights can be amended, that was the understanding. But later, some amendments were actually changing the basic features, then Supreme Court ruled about this basic structure. Okay, so we have one class especially in which we'll be discussing the amendment methodology and discussing the basic structure. Fine. So we'll see what happened in Golaknath case. So the Supreme Court ruled that Parliament cannot take away or abridge any fundamental rights because it is sacrosanct. Sacrosanct means very important and must. Okay, any fundamental rights cannot be amended for the implementation of directive principles. So if you want any directive principles to be implemented, you cannot amend fundamental rights. Fundamental rights still is powerful. So because of this, Parliament reacted to the Supreme Court's judgment and it brought two amendments. First is 24th Amendment Act. See, understand this 24th and 25th Amendment Acts are very important. So it enacted two Amendment Acts. So one is 24th Amendment Act of 1971 and 25th Amendment Act of 1951. So what happened in 24th Amendment Act? So yeah, someone asked me where to start preparation of UPSC. Don't worry, at this end of the class, I will tell you how to start preparation. I know very well many people would have been very new to this UPSC preparation process. We'll discuss about this at the end of this session. Fine, sure. Yes, the 24th Amendment declared that Parliament has power to abridge or take away any fundamental rights by enacting constitutional amendment laws. See this very interesting. The Supreme Court in a case, it is giving a verdict saying that fundamental right cannot be abridged or taken away. It's sacrosanct. For that reaction, Parliament is amending. So what did that do? The Parliament amended that the Parliament has power to take away or abridge any fundamental right by enacting Constitutional Amendment Act. And in 25th Amendment Act, it inserted a new article called as Article 31C. What is this Article 31C? Very important. According to Article 31C, no law which seeks to implement the socialistic principles specified in Article 39B and C is related to the socialistic principles. That is, promoting equality and preventing the accumulation of property. Okay, accumulation of wealth. So because of that only they removed this right to property. Article 31 was removed. Okay, fine. Let's continue. So no law which seeks to implement the socialistic directive principles specified in the Article 39B and C shall be void on the ground of contravention of the fundamental right conferred by the Article 14, 19 or Article 31. That is what they are saying. So if there is any parliamentary act which is implementing the Article 39B and C in the DPSP, which is socialistic principles, Even though it is against Article 14 or Article 19 or Article 31, it will be valid. Okay, and one more thing they added a second point. What is that? That law cannot be questioned in any court. What they are saying is that law cannot be questioned in any court because that will not come under Article 13, which is judicial review. Okay, so Parliament has made itself more powerful in terms of this. So first what they said, law can be created to implement Article 39B and C, even though if it is against Article 14, Article 19. Second point is that such law which is created cannot be questioned in any court, which means they do not come under the purview of judicial review. Fine. So let's see what is the response of Supreme Court. Do you think Supreme Court will leave it like that? No. Supreme Court is the guardian of Constitution. Supreme Court always ensures that the Constitution is intact and powerful. It is supreme. Okay, Supreme Court ensures that no one else is supreme than the Constitution. So in that case, Supreme Court gave a verdict. It declared that the above second provision of Article 31C, it did not say anything related to this point. First point, it is accepting. But in the second point, what they are saying is that it will come under judicial review because no one can remove judicial review. Parliament do not have the power to remove judicial review because judicial review is a basic feature. Judicial review is the basic feature. The judicial review is one which is making judiciary, supreme judiciary. Okay, so we have a independent judiciary and supreme judiciary because of this judicial review. Because the Parliament, even though it is creating law, even though it has sovereignty, judiciary has the power to question Parliament. If that is removed, obviously the basic feature of Constitution is affected. So the Supreme Court gave verdict saying that you can create law, but that will definitely come under judicial review, and if it is unconstitutional, the Supreme Court has the power to strike it down. Okay, so this is the conflict between fundamental rights and DPSP. Finally, Supreme Court ruled that if there is any conflict between fundamental right and DPSP, it will come under judicial review, and if it is implementing Article 39B and C, it will be constitutionally valid even though it is against Article 14 or Article 19. But if it is disturbing the basic structure, then it will come under the judicial review. Okay, so this is the verdict of Supreme Court. Did you all understand? So this is the clarity related to the in terms of conflict what will happen. Fine. Next. So now let's see how complementary and supplementary. How now we saw what is the conflict. No, we saw what is the conflict between fundamental right and DPSP. If they are standing against each other, what will happen? We saw. Now we are going to see if they are standing together with each other, what are all the provisions they have. Fine. So let's continue with this. First is doctrine of harmonious construction. Harmony. There should be harmony between fundamental rights and DPSP. So in 1958, in Kerala Education Bill, the Supreme Court, while affirming the primacy, see before this I want to tell you something, people. If you are studying any case, the details of the case are not that needed. Okay, it's so complicated. You want to know what is the Supreme Court's verdict. That's all. Okay, so if you are interested, yes, you can go and look into the details of the case. That's fine. But don't go deep into the case usually, because in polity, what is important to us is the Supreme Court's verdict, because Supreme Court's verdict has the power, which is who is the final interpreter of the Constitution. Always the Supreme Court's verdict help us to understand the Constitution better. Fine. So if someone is new to this preparation process, this is for you, and someone who's already in the preparation process, this is for you also. I'm telling you, if they are studying any case, the name, the year, what is the Supreme Court's verdict. Because of that, what is the impact in the governance? This is you should know. Okay, so do not worry. One class especially, we will be having discussion on the cases. The number of cases, what are all the cases, what is the Supreme Court's verdict. So this is what we will be discussing in one class. Do not worry about that. Okay, so first I would like to finish the basics, the basic understanding of the concept in polity, and finally we will have the discussion on these, the important data. So we'll go to what is doctrine of harmonious construction. In 1958, in the Kerala Education Bill, Supreme Court, while affirming the primacy of fundamental right over the directive principles, qualified that complementary nature. Okay, so in Golaknath case, we saw that it's subsidiary. It's not subsidiary; it is complementary. What is complementary? It adds value fundamental right. Okay, there is no conflict on the whole between fundamental rights and DPSP. They should work together. That is what is called as harmonious construction. So they should not come in conflict with each other. Instead, they should be complementary to each other. They should be supportive to each other. Okay, next. Kesavananda Bharati case with the state of Kerala. In this Kesavananda Bharati case only, Supreme Court spoke about the basic structure and basic feature of basic structure. So the fundamental rights and directive principle constitute the conscience of the Constitution. See this, very important. The Supreme Court have held that the fundamental right in DPSP is the conscience. What does conscience mean? When you are doing something, you will have an inner voice which questions you. So are you doing something right? Should you do this? Is it right? That is conscience. A voice which is very honest to yourself, which questions you, is called as conscience. That comes from yourself, that questions you. That is conscience. The same way, fundamental rights and DPSP are the conscience of Indian Constitution, which means the fundamental rights and DPSP always checks if the Constitution is valid and if it is doing something good to people. That is the power of fundamental rights and DPSP. And if they are conscience, there should be no antithesis between. They should not have any conflict. If they are having conflict, then who will question the validity of any law, or who will question validity of anything done to the people. So that is what they're saying. First is harmonious construction, that is in Kerala Education Bill. The second is Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. In that Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, Supreme Court ruled that fundamental right in DPSP is the conscience of Indian Constitution. So if they are conscience, there should be no antithesis among themselves. Antithesis means there should be no conflict among themselves. So this is about two. Next, integrated scheme. So in Golaknath case emphasized that the fundamental rights in DPSP form an integrated scheme. So what is integrated scheme? Which is elastic enough to respond to the changing needs of society. So fundamental rights in DPSP can be amended because when the society changes, the needs also keep changing. So what happened in before 74 years, when we got independence, the society was different. For example, women were not allowed to have education. But now if you see, women are equally having education in terms of men. So even some reports show that girls are better enrolled compared to male, some 0.1 percentage, but it is a very big advancement. In that case, the fundamental rights of DPSP should keep changing for the needs of society. The needs of society will not remain same. Even the society will not remain same. You all know that well. Okay, society keeps changing. A healthy society keeps changing. Okay, so if a society is not changing, it means there is some problem with the society. A stagnant society is not a good society at all. A society which keeps changing is a good society, that too in a positive manner, and the government have responsibility to ensure the society keeps changing in the positive manner. In that situation, according to Golaknath case, Supreme Court's verdict says that the fundamental rights and DPSP form an integrated scheme where they are elastic enough to change according to the society's need. Next is in terms of Kerala versus NM Thomas case. The directive principles and fundamental rights should be constructed in harmony with each other. Okay, so these are the cases which is saying. And in Minerva Mills case, Supreme Court said that fundamental rights are not an end; it is the means to an end, which means fundamental right is not the destination. That is not the place you are going to reach. That is just the way to reach the destination. Here, the actual destination is the DPSP. Fine. Fundamental rights gives political democracy, but if you want to ensure social democracy and economic democracy, you should go to DPSP. The way to go to DPSP is only fundamental rights. Okay, so that is what Supreme Court's verdict in the Minerva Mills case. See guys, all these cases are important, very important in mains or in prelims also you might get question. Fine, next. A middle path. So first they are saying you should have a harmonious construction, and then they are saying it is a conscience of Indian Constitution, and then it's an integrated scheme that should keep changing according to the needs of society, and then they should have a harmonious relationship among themselves. And in Minerva Mills case, fundamental rights is not the end, it is only means to an end, and the actual end is directive principles of state policy. The actual goal of the government to achieve is DPSP, and the means to achieve that goal is only fundamental rights. Fine, next. A middle path. In Coelho versus State of Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court said that it is a responsibility of the government to adopt a middle path. So you should have a balance between fundamental rights and DPSP. Okay, so we know that very well. Right to education is in fundamental rights also. It is in the DPSP also. It is in the fundamental duties also. So you can take right to education as a very best example where the fundamental rights, the DPSP, both are in harmony with each other, which they support each other. Because you can very well understand that in DPSP they speak about children from age of 0 to 6. In fundamental right they speak about children from 6 to 14. So almost with DPSP and fundamental right they covered the majority of childhood of a child, 0 to 6 years in DPSP, 6 to 14 years in fundamental rights, and also fundamental duties. Okay, so you can understand very well that if these both are complementary and supplementary to each other, the state will perform very well. Okay, so final conclusion should be like that. It is not important to understand which wins, is it fundamental rights or DPSP. If fundamental right is winning completely, if DPSP is winning completely, I don't know if the state will win. But if these both are in harmony with each other, if these both are constructive, supplementary, and complementary to each other, everyone will win. The state will win, the fundamental right will win, the DPSP will win. You know, almost all these things, the citizen of India, the people of India will win their rights and needs. Fine. Next. So what is the utility of directive principles? Fine. So we saw that directive principles do not, yeah, they are non-justiciable in nature. But why directive principle is so important? If they are non-justiciable in nature, it's very easy to throw them outside. But why it is very important? Let's see. See, Miss M.C. Stelwart. So he was the former Attorney General of India. So when we see about constitutional body, we'll discuss about Attorney General, all these people. So what are the powers they have, all these things. Constitutional body is one important and very interesting topic. Okay, so I'll try to make it very easy for you. Do not worry. Utility of directive principles. So according to MC Stelwart, he said that even though they have no legal rights and create no legal remedies, they are useful in certain ways. What? First, they are like instruments of instruction or general recommendation addressed to all authorities in the Indian Union. They give directions what to do. Okay, it's like a guide to. It's like a guide when making any law. It is a guide when creating any policy. Okay, so they remind them of the basic principles of new social and economic order which the constitution aims at building. Fine. Next, they have served as useful beacon lights to the courts. They have helped the courts. See, I already told you, even though DPSP is not having any legal rights, that is, they are non-justiciable, but they can be used as a reference by the court to check the validity. That is what they are saying. They are used as a beacon light to courts. So it helps the court to see the law in a better view. Okay, next. They form the dominating background to all state action, legislative or executive, and also guide the courts in some respects. They amplify the preamble which solemnly resolves to secure all citizens of India justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Fine. Next. The directive principles also have certain rules. What? They facilitate stability and continuity in domestic and foreign policies in political, economic, and social spheres. Fine. In spite of the changes of the party in power, you can see that the facility they facilitate the stability and continuity in domestic and foreign policy. There is a continuity. So now they're doing about education. So what they are doing next, all these things are clearly mentioned in this directive principles. They are supplementary to the fundamental rights of the citizens. So they add more value to the fundamental rights of the citizens. Fine. Their implementation creates a favorable atmosphere for the full and proper enjoyment of the fundamental rights by the citizens. So political democracy, in the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, political democracy without social democracy is of no value. Simply, okay? Political democracy without social democracy and economic democracy is of no value. Fine. Next. They enable the opposition to exercise influence. Am I audible to you all? I'm really sorry for the net got disconnected. Am I audible? Shall I continue? Fine. I'm continuing. Fine. Okay. So see this. One more thing related to this point is that even though they are not questioning through court, the opposition parties, you know very well that in parliament the opposition parties are very important. It's not just the ruling party which is important, the opposition party is very important. In that case, the opposition party can question the government based on DPSP. Do you understand? If the government is working properly or not, the valuation is done through DPSP, number one. Number two, that the opposition party can question the ruling party saying that you are not following this DPSP. How do you say that your government is working in a proper manner? This kind of thing, it is backing up the opposition parties. What is the better thing when opposition party is very powerful? The government will work properly. Okay, so if there will be a fear in the people who are ruling that the opposition party will question us, so we should work properly. In that case, DPSP is very important to give a backup to the opposition party. Fine. So the opposition party exercise influence and control over the operations of government. Then sir, they serve as a crucial test for the performance of government. The people can check if they are following DPSP. It's not like everywhere the government will follow DPSP, but there are certain critical areas where government should definitely follow DPSP because it's the moral obligation for the government. Even though it is not, justiciable in nature, it is the duty of the government. It is according to the Supreme Court's verdict saying that it's the duty of the government to incorporate the DPSP in the policy making. Fine, the people can examine the policies and programs of the government in the light of these constitutional declarations. Fine, next. They serve as a common political manifesto. How? Fine. So, a ruling party, irrespective of its political ideology, have to recognize the fact that these are intended to be guiding. A political party will have their own political manifesto. So, we know very well that there are different parties, different political parties in our country. It can be state party or it can be a national party. All these political parties have their own political manifesto, but these political parties should definitely have DPSP in their mind because it is common irrespective of whatever political party they belong to. For example, right to education. If party 1 is saying right to education is good, will party 2 say right to education is bad? No. Both the party will accept irrespective of whatever political party you belong to. If there is one political ideology which is accepted by every political party, it is obviously DPSP. Fine. So those political parties. One more thing is when a political party, even if you have any idea of forming a political party, or if you have any idea, if you have any interest in serving people, even when you are a bureaucrat, okay, ignore just becoming a political party, all these things. If you are a bureaucrat, you should keep it in your mind about DPSP. Only then you can be a better bureaucrat. It's not just a political party, not just legislative makers, not just administrators. Even we bureaucrats in future should keep it in mind that DPSP is one universally accepted ideology that will give good life to citizens within the country. Fine. Next. So we understood till now, we saw what is DPSP, what is fundamental right, what is the basic difference between them, and then we saw what are all the places they have conflict among themselves. And then we also just related to how to maintain harmony, all these things. So what is the conclusion? It can be fundamental right or DPSP. The final aim should be, the final goal should be welfare. Okay, so as a socialist nation, welfare is the most important concept. This is how you should write a conclusion. Okay, generally in your mains, you should write a conclusion like that. Whether it is through DPSP or whether it is through fundamental right, the final goal, the final aim of a state should be welfare of people. So it can be better achieved when they have a harmony between DPSP and fundamental right. If there is a conflict, it will lead to destruction. But if there is harmony between fundamental rights and DPSP, it will lead to construction, constructive society and constructive form of state in a country. Fine. This is how you should finish your conclusion. Like someone asked me how to start my preparation, ma'am, in UPSC. How should I start my preparation? I'll tell you first. Okay, so you always should have a start. So in that situation, first and foremost thing, in any if you are attending prelims, so if you are attending prelims, the first and foremost thing is basics. If you want proof, just take old UPSC question paper and check if there is anything without basics. Any question, all the 100 question I'm telling you guys, they ask the basic. They ask the basic understanding. Fine. First and foremost thing, you should know the basics. How I can understand the basics. We know there are different streams of subject. You have polity, you have history, you have environment, economics, and then you have science and technology, and society. People, we were not studying society for prelims till today, but I'm telling you, society also comes in preliminary examination. Polity, history, environment, economics, science and technology, society, geography, most importantly, geography. So, did I miss any subject? Please do tell me, I will add with these subjects. Polity, history, environment, economics, science and technology, society and geography. For this, where can I take the source, ma'am? See, there is no defined source. To be honest, I don't know, many people will be telling you this is the source, that is the source. For polity, you might be using Lakshmikant. Yes. Is that enough? No. For polity, is Lakshmikant enough? No. Lakshmikant is one of the important source. Along with that, you need current affairs. You need the basic understanding of certain topics. History, we have three divisions. You know that very well. For that source, for history, you do have a source. NCRT books. NCRT books, or you can follow any other books you feel like comfortable. History, there is basics, the basic concept in the NCRTs. Environment also, you can take any book, yes, but environment is mostly related to the basics of current affairs. Instead of telling you that you have basic concepts, yes, you do have basic concepts. Then static portion, you have more of current affairs in terms of environment. And economics, the basic economics is very important. Don't get confused, people. You have very big books, you have very small books. What will help you know? Are you understanding the basics? So last year in 2019, they asked a question regarding the liabilities of a bank. Okay, it is a simple basics. Okay, so basics are very important. Don't believe that there is single source for UPSC. If someone is telling you this is the single source for UPSC, I will not accept that. Okay, it's around you in your life. It is not that you can study it from a book alone. It's more from current affairs, it's more from polity. Obviously, here in the video sessions, it is more comfortable. You can watch it anytime, using your headset. You can just close your eyes and listen to these videos. This will help you a lot, really. Along with that, you have to do more value additions using the current affairs, using the basic understandings. It will be from NCRT. Not all NCRTs are needed. Specific NCRTs are needed. Use that alone. Okay. So that's what I told you. In environment, I will not accept a fact that one book will be enough. That may help you. Obviously, that may help you to get some basic understanding, but that alone will not help you. Okay, so the concepts are more important. The basics of the current affairs are important. Environmental organizations are very important. And then conventions are very important. If that you're getting from any source, it is fine. Okay, if you ask me to give you a specific source, really I cannot give you, because there is no specific source for any subject. Fine, so that is the case. You can use any source to get some basic understanding, but that is not the end. Along with that, you should go to current affairs. Along with that, you should go to some official websites. So the best way of understanding any international organization is visiting the official websites. You can't just read it from a book. Okay, the one who is more dynamically taking their source of information from different materials clear this exam well. Okay, when you rely on completely one single material, that won't work. So this is the thing. So where you start is, it's up to you. Anytime, today is the best time, I will tell you. Start with any subject you want. Practice is very important. Old question papers are very important. These are the most important thing. So I suggest the best way to prepare is not preparing and going to the exam, going to the question paper and preparing. So everybody might suggest, you attend the classes. Some will tell you class and then test. I will tell you, go to the old question papers, understand how the question comes, then come to the classes and study. Okay, so this is how it will work. So old question paper is your source. With that, attend the classes. With that, attend these live sessions where you can ask me questions, and then you can come to my special classes where we have more understanding of old questions, and then important questions. Then we will have a clear-cut understanding of how you prepare. So where do you start? You start today. You start here. You start with this concept, and you can start with polity always, because I have started this polity lecture from the very first of the polity. So why polity is important, and then from all the topics I'm covering from today, you can even start with this polity classes. Fine. So this is how it will keep moving, and this is how it is going to help. Fine. So take the subscription. It will definitely help you. I'm telling you. I'm not telling you because I'm not just telling you to advertise or something. It is really helpful. Fine. So that is the reason. I have got people telling me that it is helpful. It is very reasonable or everything. Especially attend these free sessions. Free sessions are very, very useful. Okay. Today sharp at 6 p.m. top 50 questions for polity with the discussion concepts we have. Fine. Okay, so here I'm taking polity and ethics in Let's Crack UPSC channel. As of now, I take polity and ethics. In special classes, I don't have a specific subject. I'm covering whatever is needed for the prelims. I don't specifically, take a subject and try to cover everything in that subject. That will not work. For prelims, as of now, it's completely revision. So that special class is in the Unacademy platform, the website where you can go and the Unacademy website or Unacademy app where you can come inside and register yourself and attend my classes. As of now, for special classes, I'm covering almost all the subjects. Society, history, polity, environment, all these things I've been covering. So from today, we are going to cover in terms of question. I think question, the way of understanding is better with question analysis. Fine. As of now, for prelims, you hardly have, I think, 44 days, 45 to 44 days you might be having. From this time, I think that will be helpful. Fine. So there is no urge to finish the syllabus. It is for the better revision in the special classes. This is for every attempt. This attempt or next attempt, some people will be very new. For everyone, these classes will be helpful. That is how I have designed my classes. Fine. So thank you so much. Do not worry about anything. Keep preparing. In UPSC examination, the first and foremost thing is hard work with consistency. It's not just hard work. Some people will definitely do hard work for 1 week, but those people will not win. Hard work with consistency, continuously doing the hard work. Whatever might come in your life, whatever might happen in your life, once you clear this examination, you will have a better, better view about what is happening. So keep working hard, do something very consistently. Okay, obviously you cannot do everything in single day. Do slowly, consistently, in a very steady manner. Build the face. There is something called as pace. Pace is like the speed, increase the speed time to time, and then finally what will happen is that when you reach the prelims, you will have a very strength, very big strength of content in your mind, which will help you in clearing the prelims as well as main and the interview also. Fine. So thank you so much. If any doubt, please feel free to contact me in the Unacademy platform. There you can actually message me, you can ask me doubts over there, I will reply you. Here also I will reply you. So thank you so much. So yeah, I will share all these things, do not worry about this. Tomorrow we will meet again for the class in the morning. Today afternoon we have an ethics session at 3:30, and then tomorrow we will be talking, today 6 p.m. we'll be talking about top 50 questions from polity. Fine. So thank you so much, happy meeting you all. We'll meet again and again. Have a nice day. Fine. So all the best. Share this video, and then do not forget to use my code SUBA where you get a 10% of discount. And then subscribe to this channel where my videos are going to come on a daily basis. Fine. So thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.